You mentioned in passing that the Court Challenges program was canceled in 2006. This gave federal funding to groups that wanted to take charter challenges to the court and had no possibility of affording to do that.
Correct.
With that gone, should equality-seeking groups abandon charter litigation, or is there still some value in trying to exercise those legal rights?
You know, the reality of pressing a charter challenge in the Supreme Court ultimately is that it costs money. And while there are many lawyers who are prepared to take it on pro bono, it's a great burden on those lawyers who, of course, take time, and the jurisprudence is not readily available like it is perhaps in a, I don't know, Landlord and Tenant Act. This is something that requires original research, and they dedicate an awful lot of billable hours. I know many of you are thinking about your docket sheets, in order to provide the legal expertise necessary to bring it to court. In addition to that, even covering the disbursements, you know, photocopies, travel, witness expenses, is beyond the measure of a lot of people who are seeking to pursue their rights. So that was the purpose of the Charter Challenge Fund, to pay for that kind of thing. And the amount that even the lawyers could get for that kind of work was very minimal. It was less than legal aid rates. And yet that was taken away. So it seems to me that as a group, we first of all have to lobby for the replacement of that fund, and secondly, find other sources of that funding. So the fact that the clinic, for example, took it on as part of its own mandate to take on the charter challenge for the head tax, that is a tribute to both the dedication of the people at the clinic as well as the latitude afforded by the provincial legal aid system to allow that to take place. Right? But still, there were lawyers who were paid out of the Charter Challenge Fund. So it is, I think that it is something that the broader public needs to be aware of, that first of all, that these issues touch their lives, and that they should support allocation of public funds to level the playing field.
And the last question, looking ahead, what strategies should marginalized groups seeking to transform our society into one that truly embraces justice and equality have the best chance of success? And it can be in the courts, outside the courts, anything you wish to.
Well, we are lawyers here, so we have to use the legal system. But I will tell you about one other avenue that's exceedingly important, and that is the using of the political system, voting. Right? Racialized communities tend not to vote. Lower income communities tend not to vote. Right? Anybody who feels marginalized feels that, well, you know, why bother? Well, if you don't, then the politicians are not going to bother with you. Full stop. One of my great advantages at working at CARP is that I happen to be dealing with the very demographic that always votes. It just happens to be the case. Right? And we get constant calls from people saying, oh, this has happened to me, and I'm sure it was because of my age. Right? And we look at that, and you know, we can see that probably that could be the case. But so what we do is take their complaint, turn it into a policy recommendation, which we push with the government of the day and the opposition, and say to them, and we will tell all of our members what you do in response to what we've asked you. And what is more, we're going to suggest to them there's a direct tie between their voting intentions and what you do. Now, can we absolutely guarantee that connection? No, but we can certainly make the threat. And you, as an organization, as representatives of different organizations who try to get change in public policy, the reality is that if you can't spend money, spend the vote. Get organized, get out and vote, get out the vote, make it clear what you're demanding, and follow up by voting appropriately.
Do we have time for questions, Marie, or shall I wrap it up? All right. Thank you very much. You've been a great audience. I hope you learned a lot, and there is, of course, a reception afterward.
Thank you very much, Carol and Susan. We have gifts for you.